Hi, everybody. Cornel Bogdan back with you. She is JST, Joanne Shaw Taylor. Joanne will be appearing April 29th at the Kent Stage in Kent, Ohio. Her brand new album is called Heavy Soul. I'm sure my producer, Greg, will pop up the picture here for you to let you see it. Welcome, Joanne Shaw Taylor, to Counterpoint, a musician's tale. I know we're catching you on the road. Joanne, just congrats on all your success. I gotta know, how does a young lady from England get inspired by the blues at such a young age?
I mean, for me, the pivotal artist was Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, I'd heard my dad was a massive blues fan and kind of classic, UK 60s rock, Stones and Zeppelin. Um, but I was growing up in, the late 90s and, Spice Girls were on the radio. So I'd heard like this very polished, kind of music and grown up with that. And, I'd heard Charlie Patton and Son House and Big Bill Broonzy, but it was kind of a little hard to wrap my head around going from, Spice Girls and NSYNC style production to, as brilliant as Charlie Patton is when you're a 12-year-old girl in Solihull.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
nearly 100 years old. It was kind of a tough listen, just sonically. It was an old recording. So I think like a lot of players of my generation in blues, Stevie was like the perfect gateway artist, just really smooth, lovely guitar tones, lovely voice. And great catchy songs, Love Struck Baby, Pride and Joy, they were almost like great pop songs, to be honest.
True.
So that was kind of the bug that got in my ear, and then learned all about his influences and and then I'm here.
Well, in between that time, a gentleman by the name of Dave Stewart from Eurythmics came into your life.
He did.
How did that all come apart? Did he see you playing somewhere or?
Friend of his did. When I was 15, I'd been gigging for about 2 years around the UK and had started going over to like Holland and France and Belgium. But unfortunately, at the time, my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer and was having treatment for that, but had a wonderful support group called Breast Friends that, were kind of there for each other. And I was asked to she asked me if I could do a charity show they were putting together, which I performed at in Solihull. And I just happened a friend of Dave's was there. And I just made a little demo CD and it got passed on to Dave, which is, it's one of those random things. If my mom hadn't have had breast cancer, I wouldn't have done the charity show. And, um, not that obviously I'm thankful she had breast cancer. So,
Yeah, right, right.
hope it doesn't sound like that, but it was just one of those, random life things, I suppose.
Even in the worst of times, there's a little silver lining in there, I guess, right?
I guess.
Yeah, man. But Annie Lennox too. You toured with Annie?
I just did one show, but it was quite a big show. It was the Queen's Diamond Jubilee at Buckingham
Oh,
Palace.
that's
So
not too bad.
yeah, I don't think you guys, I guess singing the national anthem at the inauguration is probably the closest thing you guys have. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have to joke on the third Eurythmic at this point. I think both Dave and Annie would strongly disagree with that, but I'm gonna keep saying it till they correct me.
No, that's so cool. What a great way to get discovered too. I've had so many great female guitar players on my show, and I ask each of them the same question. So you're next up. What is your take on the way girls are leading the way on playing guitar, especially in blues?
Sure.
Susan Tedeschi, Samantha Fish, Ali Venable, Sue Foley, Anna Popovich, the band Larkin Poe. I'm just getting revved up here. I say thank goodness for you girls, man, because you're the six string heroes.
We're getting there, I mean, when I started, it was still very, very male dominated, and I still don't think it's for all, for every female coming forward in this industry, there's probably still 20 other guys, if we sat here and listed Tyler Bryan and Joe Bonamassa and Greta Van Fleet,
Yeah,
and,
yeah, true.
there's still far more John Mayer, guys coming through. But I'm glad that, there's definitely more females coming through, which I think is great, particularly for the next generation. I mean, it wasn't hard, but it was strange to grow up wanting to be a guitar player and an artist where, the guitar's a gender neutral instrument, so I could kind of copy Stevie a little bit and I could borrow some of Albert Collins and whatever else. But when it came to singing, I couldn't never sound I was never gonna sound like Howling Wolf or
Yeah,
Luther Allison.
yeah.
Um, So there wasn't one single female artist that was doing kind of what I wanted to do and someone I could look to. There was Bonnie Raitt, but I don't play slide. You know, there was Jennifer Batten, but she's rock and she didn't sing. So I'm really glad that there's more females there, that the next generation of girls can get inspired and hopefully go, you know, oh, I really love what Sam Fisher's doing. I could see myself, you know, because you look for yourself in your heroes, don't you?
Sure, right.
So I'm hoping that this generation of 20 females encourages 200, which encourages, you know,
Yeah.
I hope it'll get more even.
You've been releasing some great albums for a long, long time. As I told you off air, I'm a huge fan. You've been releasing them, I think, since 2009. But the last few years, you've been working with Joe Bonamassa. I go back a long, long way with Joe. What has Joe brought to your music?
I mean, I think the thing for me working with Joe is that, I mean, he's my best friend.
Hmm.
Um, all of it came about because of COVID. You know, we were both off the road for the first time in years. Um,
And I know he was scratching at the wall because of that, man.
yeah, I mean, I'm very thankful for Joe that he has three houses because that's basically what he did was he'd go to Nashville and get bored after 2 days and fly to Los Angeles and just kept zipping around the country because he was just, you know, what do I
Yep.
do?
Yeah.
But yeah, like most people, you know, I had my Zooms going with my family on the weekend, and Joe was every like Tuesday and Friday night with a bottle of wine and talking. And it was like, look, I've always wanted to do a blues covers album. And he'd already started sending me ideas because he was bored. And I was like, look, why don't you produce this? You're already producing it remotely anyway. Um, you know, and I can come down to Nashville and stay with you, and I've been trying to get him into watching The Crown on Netflix for years. And it was that. It was like, hey, like, let's get together because, you know, why not? So I think the benefit of having a producer is just how well he knows me. You know, he knows
Mhm.
me as an artist. We've worked together consistently for 15 years. You know, I've been touring with him on and off. But also as a person, you know, he knows my catalog. He knows what kind of songs I write. He knows who they're about. He has his own opinions on the people they're about. You know, he's my best friend. So it was kind of nice to have that amount of trust, but also that amount of knowledge of who I am, but also when I'm letting myself down and when he could be pushing me more and, you know, things like that. So it was just a really beneficial thing to have, I suppose.
uh, I just got to make this comment. Being a radio guy all my life, I love your voice. You should have your own radio show somewhere because
It's
your accent is just tremendous.
you
Oh my
kidding
good.
me? I
Uh,
hate this voice.
your voice is your singing voice is incredible, but I love your speaking voice, man.
Well,
I could
thank
listen to
you.
you
You're
on the radio in a
the only
heartbeat.
person who's ever said that. I think it's because it's such a juxtaposition. My singing voice is very,
Different,
like,
yes.
yeah, and then you hear me and I'm like this nasally British lady, like, watch Downton Abbey recently.
Well, us talk heavy soul. I just love the title of the title track. Lay my body down in the ground, say your best prayers, and let my heavy soul go.
It's a
Woo!
light-hearted song.
Wow, that is not a Hallmark card right there, girl.
That was an interesting song. I wrote the song Heavy Soul actually with Eric Gales in mind. Joe was doing an album with him during COVID. And he was looking for songs. And again, we were on Zoom and he said, if you've got anything, send it my way. And obviously I wasn't doing anything at all. Um, and decided to have a crack at it. And I wrote that um you know, everyone remembers that summer of COVID and the everything, the whole Black Lives Matters and the COVID, like, is it real? Is it not? People were wearing masks. People are terrified to go out. Some people don't think it exists. It was just such an angry, you know, and
Angry
everyone
time.
couldn't
Yep.
get along on anything. Um, and I didn't know what to comment on the Black Lives Matters thing. And Eric, I naively assumed as a white person playing blues, I understand where this music comes from. And I maybe do or don't have a right to that history, obviously, to be performing it. I would hope that we never start policing who can play and sing what music personally, because
Yeah.
life's tough enough as it is. Like, if it makes you
Yeah.
happy, don't argue with it. But you know, I did want to show support for a whole, you know, community of people that have gifted us this music that means so much to me. It's changed my life. And Eric put up a really wonderful post just saying, if you don't respect the color of my skin. I don't care whether or not you respect my music.
Mm,
And kind of started writing heavy soul for him. Not all about Black Lives Matters, but just all the struggles that people go through, like the COVID thing. You know, there were some people at home who had kids with cancer who were going to miss their chemo that could save their life if they'd
right,
carried COVID. Those
right.
people aren't hanging out in bars at 4 a.m., but they have to go to the supermarket. Wear your mask for 15 minutes. You know what? If it makes them feels better, just, and people being, I remember having an argument with someone because I have a friend who was in rehab at the time and them arguing that alcoholism wasn't a disease, and it's just more about people trying to be more understanding of what other people are going through, and does it really take that much effort? Does it really hurt you that much to try and do something for other people that might really make a massive difference to them? So I guess it's kind of like that in a way. And then when I wrote Heavy Soul, I realized it was also the album title of one of my favorite Paul Weller albums. So I kind of cheekily decided to make a little nod to him because I love, 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 love me Paul Weller.
Well, I wish you just great success with the album. I'm excited about it because you're doing something a little bit different, according to Joe. You're releasing every song on the album as a single.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, that was Joe and Roy's idea, the whole label of
That is so cool, Joanne. That is so cool.
I thought it
It,
was cool till I had to do 12 music
yeah,
videos to sing, and then it was not cool at all. Because like
but
they
but what
chat,
a
they're like, "Hey, can you do a music video next week?" And I'm like, "I've been sitting on my ass eating chocolate all day and cheese for Christmas. Like, I'm not getting on. That's a lyric video."
but I understand from the business side of things because it keeps the longevity of the album out there for a long, long period of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a marketing ploy. At the end of the day, touring is our bread and butter as roots music artists, whether that's Americana or blues or whatever. And unfortunately, although I see an album as a piece of artwork of, a snapshot, a musical snapshot of Joanne when she's 39, or 42 or whatever I'm going to be. Unfortunately, it is a promotional tool to promote the touring. So by
Yeah.
releasing every single, we just get fresh press constantly. And then obviously for the diehard fans who do buy the vinyl and want to hear the album as I intended it to be heard, every song in the right order, they still get that at the end of the day. So it seems to be, I mean, it's what people used to do back in the day. I mean, the Beatles had a single out every week, with a B-side.
No, I
So
think seriously, I think it's a tremendous idea, and I love to hear that you still care about putting out an album,
yeah.
from beginning to end, because nowadays a lot of the pop artists they come out with that great song and 11 pieces of filler, it seems like. And to talk to an artist that cares about releasing an album, it's very refreshing.
Yeah. And I mean, I love that process. I really do see my albums as hopefully when I'm 130 years old and get to look back at, the work I've done, I do see the albums as a kind of musical snapshots of my life. White Sugar was 22-year-old Joanne, and Nobody's Fool was, 37-year-old Joanne,
Mm.
and just how I've grown as a person and what I'm going through, which, I've always said I hope every album sounds different because I'm always going to be a different person. But I hope when you look back, it's a very consistent, it still sounds like me, just at a different point in life, I suppose.
April 29th is the date you will see this young lady at the Kent stage. And we have tickets here on Counterpoint to see Joanne Shaw Taylor in concert. All you have to do is send us an email, cb@tangledupinblues.biz, cb@tangledupinblues.biz, and you can go to the show. 10 total new tracks on the album. Are they all originals?
No, we did a couple of covers on this one. I think there's three covers,
Okay.
which Kevin brought to the table, and I love them, particularly the second track on the album, Joan Armour Trading, All the Way from America.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was a really fun one.
Oh, I haven't heard that song in years. That's cool.
And Anton Fig, who played drums on it for me, was on the original too. Kind of,
That's a nice little tie-in.
yeah, Anton's getting double the money.
Yeah.
One
Well,
song.
the release date for the whole record is June 7th. Is that still on tap?
That's what I've heard, but
Okay.
I don't buy it. So
Yeah.
I'm the
You
one
know,
person who likes my music who doesn't buy the albums.
you know the right people though if you wanted to get into it, I guess. um hey, what can the fine concert goers expect on April 29th at Kent Stage? You've got quite a catalog now. Are they going to give you a little new, a little old, a little bit of everything?
Yeah, I like to so there'll be plenty off the blues album, Nobody's Fool and Heavy Soul, mixed in with some favorites of mine from over the years, which we kind of mix around to keep it fresh for us because we're out for quite a good chunk of time. And nothing sucks more than getting on stage going, oh, gotta sing this one again. You know, and I don't want that for the audience. I don't want to, pretend to be feeling something. I always describe it as a obnoxiously loud blues guitar with some questionable English soul vocals, with stories and anecdotes in
Oh, you
between
make me
about the
laugh.
song.
So self-deprecating. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not saving lives out here. I'm just, shouting in a microphone about things I'm annoyed about and banging on a guitar. So you take it with a pinch of salt.
Well, I've read that it is tougher for you to do a cover and make it sound, original than it is for you to write original music. You love writing,
I
and
do. That's my
and
favorite
it's
thing.
easier for you. Why is it so much easier for you to write an original song rather than just, continue to do cover albums for the rest of your life?
I think because, I mean, the reason I got into this and why I love doing it and why I have to do it is it's all about expressing myself, and using music as that a vehicle to do that. And at the end of the day, my job is to make the audience feel something. And I think if it's coming from me and I'm singing about something I feel I needed to write about, whether that's my mom passing away or a breakup or a really fun summer or whatever it might be, I think I've got a better chance. I'm not an actress of making you feel something if I'm actually singing about something that means something to me.
Right.
There are rare occasions where I'm not very good at picking covers, so Kevin's really good at that, of suggesting ones that he thinks will push me. And also some of them have been songs I wish I could have written, so I can therefore get into the vocal and the lyric and kind of be authentic with it. But yeah, I definitely enjoy writing the most out of everything, I think.
Well, folks, look for Heavy Soul coming your way June 7th. You can download the title track immediately. Go to iTunes or whatever you like, download it, and you can see the video on YouTube or visit joanneshawtaylor.com. Joanne, I wish you nothing but the very best of luck. I sincerely mean that. Your upcoming tour, your current tour. Any closing thoughts for those JST fans out there? You have a following that is second to none here in the States. They love you.
I am so lucky that they seem to love what I do, but more importantly, they genuinely seem to care about me and who I am and being healthy and is my dog okay? And like,
Yes,
I
I noticed
genuinely,
that. Yeah.
they seem to like really, really support me. So I just hope they know how appreciated they are. And I'm really looking forward to this tour. And I can't wait to see bums on seats and all the lovely faces. So yeah.
April 29th, you will see her at the Kent Stage in Kent, Ohio. Once again, if you want to go to the show, send us an email, cb@tangledupinblues.biz. She is Joanne Shaw Taylor. I'm Cornel Bogdan. See you folks the next time on Counterpoint, a musician's tale. Joanne, happy travels and
Thank you,
peace to you.
lovely. Tell me